It's the Big Talker FM live on your radio, the 9:35 hour. We're going to talk to Samuel Teixeira right now, another Young Voice contributor. We're going to talk a little bit about immigration and some of the questions that haven't been asked. Samuel, good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing very well, Andrew. Thank you very much for having me. How are you?
I'm fantastic, sir. So what's a good Connecticut boy like you doing in Valencia, Spain? How does that happen?
I think that's the result of living in Washington, D.C. for 3 years. You need
Fair
to go
enough.
somewhere more relaxing.
You like
Yeah.
your afternoon repose, huh?
Well, you can never get that American work ethic out of me, so I like to catch up on some things during the siesta, which is where we are right now, actually. So
Well,
um,
well, we're
I do my
sorry.
best to balance it.
Well, we're sorry for interrupting your siesta there in Valencia, Spain, with the time difference. It's 9:30 here on the East Coast. But Samuel's a Young Voice contributor and writer based in Valencia, Spain. Although he's an American boy who focused primarily on international affairs. And you've been writing on something that we've already been talking about in the show a little bit. We saw the images on the border. We had the controversy with the Border Patrol and the horses. But it doesn't seem like a lot of people stopped and asked in the first place, is like, wait a minute, why do we have Haitians crossing the Mexico-U.S. border in the first place?
Yeah, well, it is a very complicated situation, and we could take hours, diving into it. But you're absolutely right. Most of these folks did not come directly from Haiti. Most of them have been in some part of Latin America for some time now, and Haiti's been in crisis, a serious crisis for months. And a lot of Haitians rely on money transfers from abroad. So I think that was part of the pressure driving these folks there. And you got to keep in mind, too, the COVID-19 pandemic is still hitting Latin America quite a bit harder than it's hitting the U.S. and Europe. So they're still struggling economically down there from the pandemic. You're really just talking about crises stacked on top of each other.
Haiti has been a problem for a long time. It was not that long ago. One of the great tragedies of world history, really, and nobody seems to really remember. Haiti had over 200,000 dead in an earthquake not too long ago. It's been a very troubled country for many, many years. For us in the U.S., though, this is a country that's just off our coast. Even though it's an island nation, this is in our backyard. What is it about Haiti that they can just never seem to get their feet under them? And now they've had the assassination and the scandals and the various webs that have hit that. They've had another earthquake in recent memory. What is it about Haiti? Those poor folks just cannot catch a break.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you do have a decent case study right there on the island of Hispaniola, with Haiti occupying about half and the Dominican Republic on the other side. So I think one major part of it is the difference between French colonialization and Spanish colonialization. French colonialization was absolutely destructive to every country they were in. Vietnam, Algeria, large swaths of Africa and Haiti, and that's what they did. They came back in 1821, I believe, basically at gunpoint and demanded what would be $21 billion today.
Wow.
And really just kept them down for the entire 19th century. The U.S. has had several military operations there in the 20th century, and even sort of do-gooders like Bill Clinton seemed to have some great intentions and a great connection to the island. Almost everything he did there backfired. It's unfortunate. It's really a terrible. I mean, the other thing about being a French colony is they're a little bit isolated with the language. It's just a perfect storm for them, unfortunately. Former slaves, pretty much all of them at the time of their independence. And a little bit of a different story from other former slave islands like Jamaica, British colony, right? So a lot of history going into play here. But yeah, it's a very troubled history, unfortunately.
Part of it being troubled and the history. Samuel Teixeira joining us from Young Voices all the way from Valencia, Spain. I won't say it all fancy like he does because that'll go bad in my hillbilly accent. Part of this, though, is we've been talking on the show today about the Biden administration, and our current president and administration seems to be very reactionary. And when you're very reactionary, that usually means you have some poor planning. You dictate in your recent writings about the Haiti crisis. that there should have been some kind of a plan, because when you had the presidential assassination in July, the August earthquake, the Biden administration should have had some kind of preparation and know that there would have been an influx of refugees. We know that there was not proper adequate preparation for things like Afghanistan that you pointed out. There was already a border crisis in progress that we can debate, but I believe as well that the administration sort of exacerbated with their rhetoric and other things. You proffer, and I think you have a point, that this Haitian influx should have been foreseeable and should have been preventable and should have at least have been addressed. And it seems like they just reacted after it came out in the media and the optics looked bad.
That's pretty much exactly what happened, which on the one hand, is a decent thing that they did change. So I do want to encourage that. Right, that's something we do want to see, is when something bad happens, we do change. So I do want to praise him for that. But overall, you are correct that they were unprepared, and it does make sense with the history of Haiti, the history of how the U.S. has typically, looked towards them. I think it makes sense how it happened this time around, especially after the 2010 earthquake. The aid and relief was such a disaster that I think a lot of people really stopped caring and stopped and just utterly kind of gave up hope on the island. And that's I hate to say it, but look, I've been working on Haitian issues for a long time. Well, for me, the majority of my adult life, and you get told no every step of the way when you want to do something for Haiti. And it's just, I say that because it's not on anyone's radar. No one thinks it's important until we have this crisis. I mean, from my perspective, what does it take to really get Haiti into the news? Well, it takes not just a presidential assassination, not just an earthquake that destroys 50,000 homes, but also this horrible confrontation on the U.S. border. That's really the thing that kind of puts it over the top. And I'd imagine Biden, it wasn't on his radar. It wasn't a priority, even though it is in our backyard. The other thing that's extremely strategically important about Haiti is that it is one of the few countries which recognizes Taiwan instead of communist China. And yet we kind of leave them hanging there on that front as well. So it's not surprising. That's kind of how Haiti's been. And I would say that's how, that's how Afghanistan really was. I don't think Biden was too concerned about anything but really the optics and getting out clean, which didn't end up happening. But yes, it's unfortunate, but a pattern with Haiti especially.
Yeah, Samuel Teixeira joining us on the Big Talker this morning, the Mornings Without Joe Catenacci Show. Sticking to the optics for a minute, you wrote it, and I think this is kind of key to understanding why this is an optics presidency and a reactionary presidency. You call it, kind of a little facetiously, Biden the humanitarian. We heard relentlessly during the campaign, Biden, he's so empathetic, he understands things. That's all well and good. I'm sure he's a fine man with his family and stuff, but this humanitarian situation on the border, and illegal immigration is one thing, but when you had the pictures of those thousands living under the international bridge, these Haitian refugees, and then they basically got rounded up and moved to, again, change the optics and deported back. That kind of gives a lot of the humanitarian thing when you're just doing reactionary stuff and not having firm policy. And more importantly, as we've learned with refugee situations, making sure the policy is known to the rest of the world so that they don't go flooding the border to the wrong places in the first place.
Yeah, that's right. Really a totally optics-based presidency with this issue in particular, Title 14. Excuse me, I'm going to excuse me, 42.
Yeah.
Right? It's a CDC policy. It's a policy designed to prevent the spread of coronavirus. And at this stage in the pandemic, I don't think rejecting people from our border is, one, going to help the pandemic. Two, the thing is, if you wanted to take a humanitarian approach to this, we're supposedly sending millions of vaccines to these poor countries like Haiti to begin with, and we have all these people here literally waiting in line, right? Get creative with it. Give them a free COVID vaccine if they want it, right? That would be a humanitarian, consistent with stopping the pandemic policy. This is not. This is lazy, sort of very sloppy work, not even really digging into this Trump policy that did not start with COVID-19. Trump had been pressing this for really the duration of his presidency as a way to close the border, as a way to prevent people from seeking asylum. And now Biden has been championing it. And I think the political facade shows. And that's why, for someone like myself, I think a lot of people always, they do tell me, Sam, why don't you support Biden? This is why. This is why I did not vote for him. And this is why I tend not to support the Democrats either.
You also pointed out in your piece, Samuel Teixeira joining us, part of that ongoing issue is an economic one. Obviously, Haiti is teeters back and forth on almost being a failed state in a lot of ways, but the economic policy and trade policy of America to Haiti isn't helping any, and you touch on that as well. So there's also a financial area to this, and that would seem like some kind of something that would be in the president's purview to try to take up and do something about.
It would, but again, right?
Yes, paying attention to it.
Biden, yeah, he's not going to pay attention to it, and people aren't really going to advocate it. The group of people who I would look to push this stuff, actually, which for obvious reasons I'm not sure, I don't really think it will happen, but would be the Black Lives Matter folks, right? This should be a country that is of interest to them, and they could help sort of draw some pressure. But the solutions, they don't want to do that because they have tried their solutions for decades now, and they have not worked, this sort of charitable aid approach. And so what I'm proposing, what I think absolutely needs to happen, is, for one, to immediately eliminate all tariffs affecting Haiti. There is absolutely, half of the country lives on less than $2 a day. Less than $2 a day. And 48% of the entire country is malnourished. Yet we are extracting tax dollars from the 4 or 5 companies that are able to work in Haiti. That's ridiculous, for one. And for two, if we opened that up, that would signal to other businesses, hey, maybe I should pay attention here, because no one wants to invest in Haiti. I have an extensive network of young Haitians who would absolutely love the opportunity to work in anything, to have any sort of business opportunity. They just don't exist in Haiti. And there are some things we can do in the U.S. to bring them into our markets and to really do what we can. At the end of the day, Haiti, it's on them to really rebuild their country, but we can definitely do a lot to help, and we owe it to them given the intentional destruction of Haiti that really has been happening for almost, I guess, a century now, since 1915.
Samuel Teixeira joining us. While we got you here, before we let you go, you do international affairs mostly. There was a lot of fanfare with President Biden coming into office. America's back. We know the G7, G8 pictures where they were all holding hands. That's kind of all taken a lot of hits, not just Afghanistan. We're fussing with the French right now. We're having trouble. We're having China problems right now. What is the international, you're overseas, the international viewpoint of the Biden presidency right now? Because it does seem like that whole America's back thing has somewhat come off the rails. And again, optics, we're talking about optics with the president here. It doesn't seem like it's going particularly well overseas for the president. What's the view, because you are overseas, looking back for us Americans right now?
Well, it's a little bit complicated, of course. You mentioned France. And I mean, like, as pertains to this Haiti issue, right, they don't want to be involved at all. Actually, the impetus is now on the U.S. to sort of, in my opinion, drive things forward from an international perspective. And that is my general view on Europe after living here for almost 2 years now. They're not as politically active, and they don't really pay attention as much in general as the average American might. So what that means is, they heard a few very bad things about Trump, and they sort of absolutely hated him. They don't hear anything about Biden, so they don't really care. Afghanistan, they were a little bit concerned with, but really they are somewhat content to going back to normal, and these sort of policies, this is back to normal. These border crises are very normal. U.S. involvement in regime change in Haiti, very, very, very normal. Failed aid efforts to Haiti, very normal. So I think a lot of this is honestly what Biden campaigned on, and I don't think Europe is that upset with, France being, I can't explain that, but obviously given their history in Haiti, I don't personally view their government as all that friendly towards the type of things that I want to accomplish.
As a way to put a button on
Good
this,
answer?
I'm sorry, the way to put a button on this with Samuel Teixeira, just in a way, try to explain the human suffering of the people in Haiti. It seems unconscionable to me that the wider world doesn't pay more attention to it. Is there an explicable reason why it's allowed to linger like this and the world community doesn't do anything about it? Because it really shouldn't be the U.S. This should be a world issue. And the UN does end up having to go from time to time. But do you have a reason why this is for the Haitian people?
I don't have one. It's really the perfect storm. It's a combination of everything. Some historical racism, colonialism, just natural disasters. They get pummeled by earthquakes. Even the efforts that have tried to help. There was a fair amount of attention during the Clinton presidency. I mean, he sent troops there to try to restore order. The agricultural policies that actually kind of destroyed Haiti's economy in the 90s were trying to help them. So it really just ties back to the old adage that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. There have been a lot of people trying to help Haiti. And I hate to say it, but groups like the Red Cross have been destructive there. And we just really need to reconsider how we treat other people, really think more thoroughly about the consequences of our actions, and stop trying to get a good PR hit of, hey, look, I donated all this money to Haiti. I'm the best, right? I'm doing this for Haiti. That needs to stop. It doesn't produce results. It's only kept them down, and that's the exploitation that I see, not so much this opening up free trade. That would not exploit Haiti. The exploitation is when you raise money for your organization, or when you make a donation and try to build your public profile on the backs of their suffering. That is what needs to stop. That is the exploitation, not allowing them to have tax-free trade and compete in a free market against American companies. It is the charity that has destroyed them, unfortunately. So that would be my explanation, but quite a complicated situation. Perfect storm. Great.
Focus on the people and drop the optics is kind of the theme of this whole thing. Samuel Teixeira, thank you so much for your time today. Let people know where they can find you on social media and your writing real quick before we let you go.
Absolutely. Well, my last name is a bit of a difficult one, so I'll just tell everyone to head on over to Young Voices website, and you can find my profile, my Twitter there. My name is, again, Samuel Teixeira, and it's a pleasure to speak with you today. I hope if any of your listeners have any business ideas, want to hire some Haitians, or get involved in some of our projects, I hope they will reach out to me. My messages are open, and I would be happy to connect you.
Yep, and I'll put his Twitter out on my Twitter, and we appreciate your time, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That is Samuel Teixeira joining us. We'll take a quick break, come back, wrap the show up right after this.